Wade Wilson may have escaped the grip of death, but was this resurrection way more than him and his daughter bargained for? Well, let's hop into the pages of Deadpool issue number 10. The prelude to the big Pools of Blood crossover. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? So then, as we join the book, Ellie is having herself a horrible nightmare. She's back in that dark liminal space, being haunted by the ghost of her mother, Carmelita, who, now that I stop and think about it, might not actually have been her mother at all. Either way, this spirit is the reason that her and Wade are alive right now. But more and more it seems that the astral deal that Ellie struck had some real fine print on it that's about to bite her and Deadpool in the ass. And hey, speaking of Deadpool, he brings the laughs right away in this issue, saying, "Oh, you know, honey, I had the most beautiful dream. I was #1 at the box office 6 weeks in a row." Another thing you'll probably notice about Deadpool is that his attitude towards fatherhood and Ellie have changed completely. Early on, he wanted to keep her at arm's length out of fear of hurting her. And also, let's face it, fear of commitment too. Now though, he's become a complete and total helicopter parent now that he knows just how high the stakes really are when you're a superhero mercenary single father. Furthermore, Deadpool is starting to believe that this newest resurrection isn't everything it was chopped up to be. For one, he has an actual new scar on his body, something that doesn't happen very often when you have an amazing healing factor. And he's not alone either. It seems that Ellie's own healing factor has taken a major hit too. Maybe this was the secret price that they both paid to beat the Reaper. Taskmaster, who's actually been sitting in on this conversation at the breakfast table this whole time, thinks that maybe this finally means the end of Deadpool's ability to regrow any limb, or reconstitute himself from a single cell. Oh sure, he has an amazing healing factor, it's just a lot less amazing than it was. And it's for all those reasons and more, Tony thinks that Wade and Ellie, but especially Wade, need to start training harder than ever before with him because they can't fall back on their healing factors to save them time and time again. So class is in session. Lesson number 1, stop fighting like you're invincible because you're not anymore. This also serves as a fun opportunity too for Deadpool and his daughter to fight side by side, something they didn't really get the chance to do when Ellie was first recruited and Wade was still alive. Though admittedly, Wade's bad habits keep rubbing off on his daughter, talking way too much during the fight and rushing the enemy without a plan. Eventually, Taskmaster gets so fed up with this training exercise, he decides to portal them both into the field to see if they actually learned anything. Both father and daughter end up literally crashing a card game being held by the Russian arms dealer we saw a couple issues ago, meaning that the Wilsons are going to have to learn to fight on the job. And indeed, it is something of an uphill battle. They are able to slice their way through the Russian mobsters, but it's still not quite good enough. That is, of course, until Ellie has a major light bulb moment, complete with her first ever flashback narration box, something that Deadpool himself is very proud about. Does Ellie finally clue into what exactly it was Taskmaster was trying to teach them? Mainly shut up and actually listen for a change. In this instance, listen for when the Russian mobsters run out of bullets and start reloading. That's the best time to actually rush them and finish them. Which is exactly what the Deadpools do, though in a very funny meta joke, Wade is sure to break the fourth wall to say, hey, all those kills technically count as my kills. Ellie hasn't actually murdered anyone yet. Marvel editorial gets really weird about those kinds of things, and honestly, when I stop and think about it, yeah, I guess none of their teen heroes do actually kill. Even the darker, edgier ones who are related to darker, edgier, more kill-crazy heroes. I mean, I guess it is something of a headache to have your teen heroes kill. With the mission a success, Taskmaster brings them home in a portal, though Tony's still not happy. Father and daughter might finally be on the same page, but they still need to get some money coming into this mercenary operation if they still want to be a functioning mercenary operation. And wouldn't you know it, but that actually ends up leading to the next big emotional hurdle for Deadpool and Ellie to clear. As Taskmaster says, part of being a mercenary means that you don't always get to pick your jobs, and sometimes you have to do some work that is, well, morally gray. Or even worse, killing someone who doesn't have it coming. As Deadpool explains to his daughter, this is yet another one of the many reasons he tried to keep her at arm's length. Not just because the work is dangerous, not just because he wasn't ready to be a full-time father, but also because he didn't want Ellie seeing him doing things that would make her think any less of him. And in a beautiful piece of family bonding, Ellie says that she chose this life for herself, that she loves her father, that she wants to be next to him, and and that there's nothing he could do to make her think less of him. Though, trust me, those words will end up getting tested almost instantly. Again, they make a whole big song and dance about who the mystery client is who's hired Taskmaster and Deadpool, but if you've been paying attention to all of Ziegler's work or even know what the upcoming Pools of Blood crossover is about, it's kind of painfully obvious. Even Doug makes reference to it, like, really, we're going after him? I know him. Well, not him personally, but I worked with one of his co-workers. And then if that wasn't enough, Deadpool ends up walking away with the fourth wall-breaking meta joke of the year when he says, "Hey Ellie, this next target hasn't had a crossover in like several issues." Of course, he's talking about Miles Morales' Spider-Man, and that joke and that comment only gets funnier when you realize that the entirety of Cody Ziegler's excellent Miles run so far has really been just forced to jump around from crossover to crossover, event to event, but at least this time Ziegler is also writing the Deadpool book, so he gets to make the choices this time. And indeed, as the comic comes to a close, Deadpool and his daughter end up setting up outside a roof in New York City. Wade has a high-powered sniper rifle and is waiting for Spider-Man to swing by his crosshairs, but of course Ellie is already starting to have reservations. Hey, isn't Spider-Man a good guy? I know you said sometimes you might have to kill people who don't deserve it, I just didn't think you'd be doing it so soon. And so that was Deadpool issue number 10, everybody, and Cody Ziegler does a good job offering up a story that's a nice little palate cleanser to close out the previous arc and to help set up the next big crossover. Ellie and Wade continue to make a good team, both superhero-wise and comedy-wise as well. In fact, I dare say the whole dysfunctional family drama with them, Princess, and even Taskmaster is the real draw of this book, more so than even the action or the comedy for me. I'm also really interested to see what a crossover with Miles Morales' Spider-Man is going to be like, mainly because that book has been moving from strength to strength. Miles and Taskmaster actually got into a lot as the Cape Killers, and it looks like Agent Gao is going to be the big overarching villain for this story again, meaning we're probably going to finish that storyline off. I also imagine Ellie is going to have thoughts too when she realizes, hey, this Spider-Man is a kid just like me. Overall, I'd give this issue a 7.5 out of 10. Not a life changer, but certainly a lot of fun and certainly sets up some interesting stuff for the future. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.